ready? Man to man, break.
It's high school football now. Presented by Fourth Down Magazine with Eric Epler and Andy Shay. Time for a look at Central PA football. Here are Eric Epler and Andy Shay.
All righty, welcome to the final edition of High School Football Now for the season 2020. We're presented by Fourth Down Magazine. He's Andy Shay. I'm not sure where in the virtual world you are. Of Fourth Down Magazine, I'm Eric Epler of Penn Live. We are now entering the championship zone. The championship zone.
It's not even Thanksgiving.
I know. It's not even Turkey Day yet, but hours after Turkey Day, we will have the first of 6 championship games at the Concrete Palace, a.k.a. Hershey Park Stadium, Friday and Saturday, 3 games apiece. We go 1-3-5 on Friday, and we go 2-4-6 on Saturday. Lots of great matchups to talk about. Lots of great semifinal matchups to talk about. We will do that in the week that was coming up in a few minutes. But first of all, we got a couple of District 3 hopefuls still in line for PIAA titles. I believe there's 3 of them,
3 of them. Yeah.
3 District 3 teams still alive. Steel High, Wyomissing, Central York, all on different days. It's gonna be great. All right, Mr. Shay, how are you? How was your weekend?
I'm doing good. How was your weekend? Never mind. Birthday boy, hint, hint, hint. Somebody had a birthday over the weekend.
Birthday time. Yeah, if I celebrate too hard, things start breaking. That's how old I am. So let's just leave it at that.
All you want to do is get in your comfies and sit in your
I just wanted to get my sleeping pants. That's it.
That's it.
Pants, you know?
Well, tell us what else we got coming up this week. We got
all right. Obviously, week that was quarter number 1. We're going to bounce around the state, talk a couple semifinal matchups in the state brackets. Of course, quarter number 2, it's Best in Show, our 2020 Best in Show. We're going to handpick our MVPs for about 6-7 positions. We can't do every position's time a lot. Does not allow us to break every position down. But we're going to tell you our picks, and there's some interesting ones for quarterback, running back, receiver, our best defensive guys, some athletes, and, of course, our picks of who we would name Coach of the Year. This has nothing to do with classifications.
No.
We're looking at guys and we even look beyond statistics. You don't need to be playing in a state final to get there, although there will be some couple guys who are. But just overall guys that we thought really, really lifted their teams up on a pedestal in what was certainly an interesting / frustrating / engaging season due to the pandemic. Okay, quarter number 3, we got 2 guys coming in from Wyomissing who have been fabulous all season long. Quarterback and safety, Zach Zekman's going to join us. And, of course, fullback and linebacker, Evan Nadrowski. They will join us here in quarter number 3. They got a big one coming up against Central Valley on Friday at 3:30 p.m. That is for the 3A title. And, of course, quarter number 4, we got 6 big championship games. We are going to pick them all in quarter number 4 and break it all down for you. Woo!
Woo! Here we go.
That was a mouthful, brother.
You got it, honey.
I don't know. You got a little dodginess going on over there in the man cave. Little off and on. Is your signal okay?
I think my signal's just fine.
All right. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Can you hear me okay?
Let's go to the week that was. We're going high at top, 13,000 feet up, top of Steelton, on a place called Cottage Hill. The field's been there for what? 190, 390 years or whatever, but you were there, partner, and you saw a barn burner. This is all you, man. Steel High 16, Bishop Guilfoyle 14. Break it all down for us.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining football game. I'm not sure a defensive battle was expected, though. And think about this, E. The Steel High Rollers are going to play for a PIAA Class 1A championship for the first time in a dozen years because of a kicker. A kicker, a 34-yard field goal by Brian Hernandez with 42 seconds left. Won it. I mean, does that fit 2020?
It does. And let's be clear here so I don't get emails, okay? Brian Hernandez has done a tremendous job. He's a solid kicker. But Steel High has never, I don't think ever won a state playoff game due to a kicker. And it wasn't a 21-yard chip shot. 38 yards is 38 yards.
34-yarder.
All right, 34 yards. Still
would have been good from 38.
Right,
Easily would have been good from 45.
I mean, I don't remember a game being decided by a kicker in a state playoff game ever, for Steel High. So that's why we're mentioning.
So this was a defensive struggle. That's what it was, brother. I mean, both defenses showed up big time. I mean, big time. And in the end, the best player on the field for each team, that was Steel High's Mekhi Flowers and Bishop Guilfoyle's Keegan Myrick. They showed up, right? That was, each team went to their go-to. I mean, the very first play from scrimmage of the game, I'm trying to set this up. Very first Steel High play from scrimmage, Odell Green, who, of course, rushed for a hundy. He had a game-high 131 yards on 25 carries. He fumbled, right? Enter Keegan Myrick, picks it up, scoops it up, makes three-guy miss, 33-yard fumble return for a touchdown, 7-0, like 15 seconds into the game. You think, boom, here we go, off to the races. First one to 40 wins, right? Let the chaos ensue. No, it stayed 7-0 on that touchdown in Bishop Guilfoyle's favor until the fourth quarter, The fourth quarter. Now, the Rollers shot themselves in the foot in the first half. They had 4 turnovers in the first half. That's why the scoreboard didn't move. I mean, they moved the rock. They just gave it away.
Right.
And just before the half, Bishop Guilfoyle went on a long march. It was like 12 plays, 58 yards, took over 7 minutes of clock, and you're just sitting there converting third downs and fourth downs, and the clock's just draining. And I'm like, 7-0 is right in their wheelhouse. Then right before the half, they had a chance, 36-yard field goal, wide left, right? That's a foreshadow. I'm just telling you that right now. So we get to the fourth quarter. It's 7-0 still Bishop Guilfoyle, right? Then lightning strikes. First part of it was Odell Green got banged up, had to go out for a couple plays. They put Mekhi Flowers in the backfield, hand him the ball. It was the end of a drive. He scores 7-7, right? Next time Steel High gets the ball, they throw a little flat pass to Mekhi Flowers. He makes 4 or 5 guys miss. On the way, 87-yard touchdown. I'm just going to give you this for a moment. The Rollers were flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct on the touchdown with 6:28 to play, right? They're up 13-7. They call timeout, 35-yard extra point. I'm just foreshadowing you. Going towards the scoreboard. Coach Irby went for 2 there instead of 1, and it failed. So with 3:54 to play, it's 14-13. Bishop Guilfoyle comes right back out, goes right down the field, scores a touchdown. Myrick scores on a 6-yard run. Bang. They're up 14-13. Steel High gets the ball. They convert a 4th down. They convert a long 3rd down play. It's desperation time, right? The clock's winding down. They've got like 4th and 15. Good pressure on freshman quarterback Alex Irby. Incomplete. BG starts celebrating. Stop me if you've heard this before, E. Hold on. Yellow hanky on the turf at Cottage Hill. What was the call? Come on, what was it?
Holding?
It was the same as the week before. Defensive holding. They moved the ball 10 yards. It was still 4th down. So it was 4th and 5. At the exact same point almost as the extra point they decided not to kick. And they sent Hernandez out there with 42 seconds left. Snap, kick, hold, bang. Good. Now you think 42 seconds, no timeouts. BG's got the ball inside their own 30, 42 seconds left, no timeouts. Game's over, right? No. BG hits a 58-yard catch and run, runs up the field, spikes it, and now they have a 36-yard field goal to win it in the dying seconds. exact same spot as before. Same going to the same end as the first half. And they missed it. Wide left. Steel High holds on. I mean, Flowers had 161 total yards on 12 touches. Myrick had 117 yards on 28 carries. Last thing I'm going to say is the Rollers defensive line won this football game, in my opinion. Bishop Gill had 44 carries for 122 rushing yards. Think about that, E.
Yep.
44 for 122, one rushing touchdown. That's why the Rollers are moving on.
Yeah, this was Mekhi Flowers. That's his route to the touchdown. Did you see that? That was his route. I think he made 13 turns at one point.
It was crazy.
Touchdown. It's been crazy. All right, hey, let's move on.
I was going to go down the other end, and I'm like, nah, I'm just going to stay here because I think he's coming this way. And dude, he ran right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was tremendous, and congrats to Steel High for making it back to the state finals. They'll play the first game on Friday at 11 a.m. Against the Jeanette Jayhawks. All right, couple of other ones. Central York 37, McDowell 21. We both thought Central York would win this game. They fell behind 14-0, and then our guy Bo Prabula took charge. 27 points in the second half, or I'm sorry, the second quarter. He was 25 for 38 in this one, 319. He also rushed for 110 yards and 2 TDs. Judah Toom, 7 for 142 and a TD in the second quarter alone.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That hook was good. Central York's defense finally kind of checked up a little bit, and McDowell's sort of, I don't want to call him one-dimensional. That's not fair, but the rush heavy, getting that 14-0 lead.
Yeah.
Central York came storming back. So good for Central York. They now will play the final game on Saturday night at 8:00.
Yeah, Bo wasn't going to be denied. First York County team to play for a state championship. I mean, think about it. They fell behind 14-0. It was 37-7 the rest of the way.
Yep. And not great conditions. Imagine that. They were at the Ravens Den.
Yeah, shocking.
Oh, yeah. Wet, shocking. Dank. Of course. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Pine Richland 44, Governor Mifflin 41. We talked last week about this. And again, no offense to Upper Dublin, who had to forfeit to Cathedral Prep in the other semifinal, but this really, I thought, was should be the state championship game.
Yeah,
turned out to be a whale of a ball game here.
Ridiculous.
My point, though, is, and granted, give Pine Richland all the credit in the world for storming back in this game, but this one stings if you're Mifflin and you're up 41-19 with roughly 18 minutes to go in this football game,
right?
And you can't hold on.
Right.
That is a stinging loss to a football team, really, that did nothing wrong until that point. You know what I mean? Just did absolutely great work. Cole Spencer was phenomenal for Pine Richland in this one. And dude, they couldn't hold the lead. Could not hold the lead.
I mean, they had leads of 21-0 and 41-19 with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And Cole Spencer had 3 picks already.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a fumble, and they still won the football game. That's just absolutely stunning.
Yep, absolutely amazing. All right, listen, we have a relationship with Fortney Printing. They've championed high school football for a long time. So if you're in need of affordable quality printing on a deadline, Fortney Printing is your trusted source. For corporate clients, teams, schools, or individuals with big or small jobs, get in touch with Fortney Printing, locally owned and trusted. Call for a quote today, 717-939-6422, or email adam@fortneyprinting.com. Remember, promotional items, PPE in the Harrisburg area, you know who to call. Fortney Printing. All right, hey, a couple more before we get out of here. Jersey Shore 39, Lampeter Strasburg 35. This one went back and forth. From a spectator's point of view, it was phenomenal theater at Lampeter Strasburg on Friday night. Problem was, I didn't see the same LS team that I saw. Now, give Jersey Shore a lot of credit for that, but I thought the tackling was bad for LS. I thought they just didn't look as sharp as I've seen them look. Right. And I don't think it was an effort thing, but it just seemed like LS was giving up things that they're not used to giving up. And I don't think it was all Jersey Shore being that solid and that, persuasive, if you will.
I mean, your quarterback goes for nearly 500 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, and that's a hard game to lose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to lose. I mean, I saw some warning bells against Elko the week before, not
Sure.
because Elko isn't capable, but the fact that it was a tussle, that game told me more about Elko
Yeah,
than
exactly.
Lemke or Strasburg. And they had to make Jersey Shore uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
They never did. And
No.
they ended up getting beat because what you talked about, I saw it as well. It was the execution on some of their fundamentals defensively was not good. And it cost them.
Yes.
Tough.
Yep, it did.
You
All right.
500 yards and 4 touchdowns and you lose.
I know. Stinging. All right, 2 more quick ones. Why I'm missing 44, Danville 14. We thought why I'm missing would sort of, put the hammer down and keep going. They did that. Of course, Zach Zekman, the quarterback, 3 touchdown passes early, 3 in a row, actually late in the second quarter. This one was over by halftime. Spartans 49 carries, 262, spread the wealth again. Nobody had more than 60 yards rushing. Ho-hum, that's exactly how they just lull you in and then just put you in for the dirt nap. That's exactly
I mean, I
does.
know Danville's a passing team and they got some in the second half, but they were
Yeah,
down
kids
30
are
at
really
halftime,
good.
right? So
Right, yeah.
what's going to happen? It's irrelevant. I mean, really, I think the closest scrape why Missing's had was Middletown
Was Middletown, yeah. Yep,
in
it
the
was
third
Middletown.
quarter. And I mean, Zekman's the linchpin. We know that. They're physical and yet capable of big plays. That's crazy.
Exactly. All right, the final one, Mechanicsburg 21, Northern 7. Congratulations to the Wildcats. They are your outright Mid-Penn Colonial Division champions. No surprises here. Who played a leading role? Mr. Brubaker, of course.
Shocking. I mean,
All
if
right.
your only loss is to Governor Mifflin in this season,
Yeah.
and you win your new look division that you've been put in, I'd say that's memorable, right?
Oh, my God, yes. Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, I'm sad there's no Turkey Day game with Cumberland Valley and Mechanicsburg. I get
Right.
it. It's 100% the right call, but it's still sad. But the Wildcats performed, and the fact that they got one more game in to win their division outright and not have to share it, that says a lot.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it for quarter number 1. Coming up, it's 2020 Best in Show Roundtable. This is High School Football Now with Eric and Andy, sponsored by Fourth Down Magazine. Come on back.
This is High School Football Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine.
All righty, welcome back to High School Football Now with Eric and Andy. We are presented by Fourth Down Magazine. Find us on the Small Player Big Play app and YouTube. All right, so we thought we would discuss, lay down the law on some of the year's best to do it. It's championship week. This is the right time. Stats matter, of course, but it's not everything that matters. We like to look at the guys' overall performance, how they sort of lifted the team up. We calculate grit. I do actually have a grit calculator. Guys that just show up, play football. Sometimes it's not pretty, but they get the job done. All those things. We're going to encompass all those things, and we're going to name some of our best guys that we would have in the MVP discussions moving forward. So let's start a quarterback, the alpha position, and we'll start with your guy. Who's your guy?
Yeah, this was tough for me.
All of District 3, by the way. Everybody's open to this.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a little bit more homer than you, but yes. And so some of the guys I looked at, Daniel Schuster for Camp Hill. I looked at Sean McTaggart at LS. They were under consideration. Lech Powell at Bishop McDevitt. I thought he had a really good year.
Yeah.
Limited capacity, but I went with Micah Brubaker. He constantly put up 300 plus total yards a game with 3, 4, 5 touchdowns. He has wideouts, but he's slippery and twitchy, right? He throws well on the run and he makes chicken salad out of chicken, right? He can do that. And he has no running game to speak of per se. His offensive line is okay, right? He led them in rushing. He was maddening to play against. I just think he was a guy that I'd be comfortable starting my team with at a signal caller position.
Yeah, McTaggart is a guy that I had in the discussion, as well as Joey McCracken. I thought he added there's so many great elements about that Warwick team too, that I thought McCracken even got overshadowed by guys like Nolan Ritchie and Colton Miller, Caleb Schmitz. There's a bunch of other guys too that you can mention there, but I can't get beyond Bo. Perbula has just been tremendous. The regular season, obviously goofy numbers in the regular season, but the fact that he led them into Central Dauphin and just put an absolute surprise look on everybody's face, not only with just his skill, but his toughness too, and how he leads that air raid offense, and how he's just such an extension of Janček on the field.
And he
I
breathes
just
life
don't.
into everybody else on that team. He just breathes it into them.
Elevates everybody. He even elevates the defense when they put him back there at safety. So I think he's in a short list for 6A Player of the Year. I think it would be an injustice to not have him in that discussion with maybe one or two other guys. So I can't get past Bo. He's my guy.
All right, let's go to running back. E, who's your best running back?
I would have loved to see Nick Singleton, kind of get one more shot at States for sort of everybody to see him. I mean, I know he's obviously an unbelievable talent, a 4-star guy, so there's a lot of eyes on him too. But he runs violently.
Yeah,
We've seen a few of those guys through the years where you get to see them on a toss right or a toss left,
right,
and you see them. More particular, you hear them turn the corner. They get to the corner because of their speed, but once they turn that corner, it's like the sound of a trash can, trains coming together. It's just there's a powerful run and sort of gait for these guys. He's one of these guys. When he runs by on the sidelines, you're like, whoa. This is not only speed, but it's also power. So I don't know where he's going to wind up. He could wind up at Ohio State or Notre Dame or Penn State. We'll see if Adam Brenneman gets his hooks in Arizona State. I know they're looking at him there. So yeah, for me, Nick Singleton has been the guy who just really stood out to me.
Yeah, it was hard for me not to look at quarterbacks too, right? With the dual threat quarterbacks, guys like
exactly.
Bohannon, Wilson, Caleb Brown,
right?
Warwick's Colt Miller was definitely somebody I considered as well. I can't ride your coattails on Singleton. I'm going to go different. For me, I thought it was Timmy Smith from Central Dauphin. I know he plays wide receiver too, but when it came down to it, Central Dauphin went to him and he delivered. He delivered consistently. He was just as good, if not better, than last year. And last year he was a monster. He's a hard-nosed runner inside. He's a little bit elusive in space. He has a little bit of hop in the open field. I think he has great vision and he follows blocks better than most. And I like that in a running back. So I'm picking Timmy Smith.
Yeah, we mentioned Braden Bohannon, Caleb Brown too.
Yep.
Odell Green is a guy that was in the discussion for me too. I mean, he's added that just now. Granted, there's a lot of talent at Steel High, and a lot of that talent is out wide. But the hard yards that he's gotten really has been the difference, I believe. I mean, I don't think they're at Hershey Park without Odell Green.
I agree.
I can tell you that right now. So he's added that element. So he's been fantastic. All right, let's move on to best wide receiver A. There are two guys that I really liked here.
Yep.
Everybody likes Judah Toome from Central York. Just lightning fast, and the season he's had has been tremendous. He's been such a difference maker, particularly once you got to the playoffs here. Caleb Schmitz from Warwick is a guy that really stands out to me. It's funny because neither one of these guys might not play wide receiver in college. Caleb's probably going to wind up as an outside linebacker, which he's more than capable of playing at 6'4". And Judah Toome, who knows, he could be a tremendous corner for some college program who is lucky enough to get him. So those two guys it was hard for me to separate those two.
Yeah, I'm steering away from the guys you mentioned a little bit, and I'm going to go with Mekhi Flowers from Steel High. I think his catch range has increased exponentially, it looks like to me, this season. And he's always been able to do stuff after the catch because of his speed and his moves. But now I think he's added a physical element to that part of it after the catch. I'm also a big fan of Cam Oaks at Cam Oaks at Camp.
Right. Camp
Hill. I mean, he's a first-year kid who plays basketball and just decided to come out for football. I mean, when I got to see him against those Predators from Bishop McDevitt wing coat that they put on and tried to cover him. They
Yeah.
couldn't. They tried 3 guys. They couldn't cover him. That stands out to me as well as a guy who is just a really good at his position. So I'm going to go with that. Who's your best offensive athlete?
This is where I think Flowers fits in. For me, I think Mekhi Flowers fits in right here as best athlete because you mentioned just, not only being more physical, but when the ball is thrown to him or it's coming, he still produces. He very rarely do you catch him either in the backfield or are you able to jam him? Are you able to outpoint him? I mean, obviously the game-winning catch that he had last week was unbelievable.
Right. That was ridiculous.
He's, if they need a big return, he's the guy back there. He's just, and again, it's not so much being a great route runner, but just the athleticism that he brings to it. And quite frankly, the attitude he brings to it. He's a lot more no nonsense. I'm going to beat you now rather than, he still jukes and jives and does maybe 1 or 2 more turns than he needs to because he already has the corner, but maybe he feels, but he's a lot more committed to beating you, which means he's a lot more focused. And that means he's really dangerous now, really dangerous. And he's taken that next step to be that big time recruit. In my eyes, he's way up there now.
So, I mean, you look around District 3, you got Manheim Township's Anthony Ivy.
Yep.
You can go with Brown at Wilson. You can put Brubaker here as well. This is where I'm going to jump in and make my call for Pabrula. He's a quarterback, but you get the feeling that Central York could run the Wildcat and they'd still be a capable offense to a degree, right?
They would, yeah.
I mean, he went for 430 total yards in the state semifinal, and he doesn't play safety much, but when he does, he's a woodshed bringer, right?
Yep.
Like he brings it. So athletically, as an athlete, I don't think just because he plays a quarterback position, I'm going to go for him.
All right, let's switch it over to defensive. We're going to name a good defensive standout here. Again, this was tough to narrow this down, obviously, because
standout. That's a tough one.
Because do you target an area? Do you think a defensive tackle or defensive line or a linebacker, secondary? There's been guys who have made tremendous impacts at all 3. You've gotten some guys defensively too whose season got shortened by COVID or didn't make the playoffs. In a case like McDevitt or a case like maybe Hershey. To me, Tyree Morris from Mechanicsburg really stepped up the last 4 or 5 games. Their linebacker, Sam DeLuca, has been tremendous all year.
He's been very good.
Carter Glassmeyer is a guy who really impressed me for Central York, really impressed me during the Central Dolphin game, and he's been very, very good all season long. So I'll take Glassmeyer here. But again, Tyree Morris, I think Sam DeLuca and Cade Warner had a great year for McDevitt. He's going to be around for a while. And another guy, too, is Stephen Alexi for why I'm missing the defensive tackle. He's been really active, too, and I've got a chance to see them live twice now. And for a third time on Friday, I'll get to see him. So those are some of the guys that I looked at.
So you covered a lot of ground with dudes. And, I mean, I agree. Morris at Mechanicsburg, Glassmeyer at Central York, they were high on my list. I went with Shamar Joppy at Central Dolphin. And it's not a Central Dolphin. I thought he played miles above expectations. And I thought for this Rams defense that he actually became the difference maker and impact player. And I'm just not talking about in one way. I mean, it was sacks, tackles for losses, blitz. He brought mayhem on the blitz, interceptions. He became that name your knee guy for the Rams defensively. They went to him, right? It was a tough call for me, but I went with Shamar.
All right, 2 more. Best defensive athlete. I went a little off the cuff here. Cade Clancy from Manheim Township is my guy.
Wow. Nice.
I think he wound up leading the streaks actually in rushing too. Tremendous athlete, overshadowed a little bit because Manheim Township got behind the 8 ball and had to climb their way back. Didn't win Section 1 and things like that, and obviously didn't make the postseason. So he would be number 1. Zekman at why I'm missing would be my number 2.
Yeah, your number 2 is my number 1. It's Zekman at why I'm missing mom. He's one of those kids that he plays 3A football at why I'm missing, right? but I still think he could be an impact player in the secondary for any Class 6A team easily.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he's such a good athlete. That doesn't matter the level he plays at. I think he could perform at a very high level.
Yep. All right. Best coach, A. Who do you got?
Yeah. So I might measure mine a little differently than yours. I'm looking for something that shocked me, right? And to me, that was Hershey. I mean, they were barely competitive years ago. They lost their most valuable player in Rodriguez. And overall, fundamentally and concept-wise, they were the most improved team, and that's what I look for in a coach. Name a standout dude for the Trojans, right? Like, who's their dude?
Yeah, no,
That
you're right.
one guy.
You're right. Yeah.
And now I know their schedule was soft. I'm not really going to look at that. Overall, in so many aspects, they rewrote the script for me, and that's not easy. So it's Mark Painter at Hershey.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bob Miller at Elko. I honestly believe that effort they put through there. But the guys that I had in the one more win club, I think if these guys would have got one more win, whether it's a state or in districts, I think Juniata's Kirk Kondo, Altoona's Vince Nedemeyer, and Hershey's Mark Painter. I think if they would have been able to squeeze into the playoffs and stuff, I think those guys are certainly in the discussion. Maybe even Brad Zell at Boiling Springs too. But Bob Miller to me at Elko, that's the guy that should be at it. All right. That'll do it for Best in Show. Coming up, quarter number 3, we got real live football players in. Well, they're going to join us. Zach Zeckman from Why I'm Missing, Evan Nadrowski, they'll be here. Stick around. We'll be right back with High School Football Now with Eric and Andy.
This is High School Football Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine.
All righty, welcome back to Fourth Down Magazine's High School Football Now. We are presented by Fourth Down. It is quarter number 3 when we have real life action heroes, the guys who do it on the weekend, joining us. All right, Mr. Shay, who do we have with us today?
Did you call them action heroes?
Yes, it's state championship week. They are action heroes now. They get bobbleheads and everything.
These are a couple Why Missing Spartans. Number 9 in your official Why Missing Spartans football program, 6 foot, 175, 180 pound. I think he looks bigger than that. He is senior quarterback and safety, Zach Zeckman. This season, he's 48 of 69. That's 70% completion, by the way. Running the wing tee for 615 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Don't think I'm not going to ask you about that one pick either, Zach. Number 44 on your Spartans official 2020 roster, 6'2", 240-pound fullback, inside linebacker, Evan Nadrowski. He has a team high 83 carries this year, 592 yards, 9 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, he averaged 7.1 yards per carry. That's a fullback in the wing tee with a 7.1 yards per average. That's just my PSA for the wing tee. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on High School Football Now. Congratulations on earning a trip to Hershey to play for the state championship. We really appreciate you taking some time to join us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's kick it off. What's it feel like now? You're now 4 days away from playing for a state title. I know the season sort of condensed, and there was bedlam here and there, and wondering if we'd have a season. So, knowing that you're that close now to playing for a state championship, how does it feel, Zach? I'll start with you.
It's definitely a little surreal. The fact that we're only 9 games into it, we would be like we're on pace, wrapping up like a league championship this coming week, and it comes at you fast. Like we're not really like I don't think I've wrapped my head around. A lot of the guys on the team haven't wrapped their heads around that. We'll be in Hershey next week, kicking off for state championship in our last game, or our seniors' last games ever. But it's been fun, and getting to the point has been a lot of work and certainty. But, it's nice that we're here now.
Evan, I'll give you the same question. What's it been like for you?
It's really an honor. I mean, COVID. Hold on. With COVID going on, I mean, starting back in July, it's just been the coaches rallying behind us, our own teammates. Starting back in July, it's just been one heck of a ride. I mean, to make it this far and then this deep in the state playoffs, it's just truly an honor to be here.
As Zach sort of alluded to too, has it just been felt so like it happened so fast? I mean, here, we grow up knowing that the state championships are always at least 2 weeks past Thanksgiving, if not 3. the one season not long ago, the state championships were 6 days before Christmas. So it just felt like such a long, grinding haul. Did it feel just really super quick that all of a sudden, boom, you're going to Hershey again?
Yeah, it was just a quick flash. I mean, with the condensed season, it just came right up on us. We had no clue it was going to be right there.
Hey, Evan, I wanted to ask you, after getting to watch you up close and personal, and I'm serious, do you feel guys when they bounce off you? Because there are guys that try and hit you, they try and hit you high, they try and hit you low. And I'm not being sarcastic. These are football players that are doing the right thing, and they're literally bouncing off you. Are you impacted by that? Do you feel it, or do you just keep going? And why are they bouncing off you on a consistent basis? What is it about your running style, besides the fact that you're 6'2" and 240 pounds, that has such an impact on defenses like that?
I mean, I definitely feel it. It's the impacts I just love. That's just the part of football that I've always loved. But it's just, I just love hitting guys. I mean, you know, Middletown, I love dragging those two guys in the end zone. But yeah, usually sometimes guys just put their head down, and you just kind of just got to jump around them. Just shove their head down on the ground, just move around them. You'll be fine. Yeah.
So you never saw a sideline you liked?
Never.
Never.
Evan, should we add that if you step on a scale right now, you'd probably read 250 and not 240?
Yeah, probably. We should add that.
Teammate roasted him.
Hey, we've all got a little extra COVID weight. Don't worry about it, Evan. Don't worry about it at all.
Hey, Zach, you've thrown one interception this year. Impressive, right? That means you understand the offense and what the wing T requires out of the quarterback. I think it's one of the keys to your offense is your ability to throw. But I just want to ask you, the one interception, who was it against? Bad throw or good pick? There's a difference between a bad
throw. It was a good play. It was Wes McAlpine on Fleetwood who picked it off, and he jumped I think it was a drag route to the tight end or Aiden Mack on a 3rd and 10. I forced it. It was 3rd and 10, so it was either pick or punt was kind of my mind going into the play. And they covered down really well. It was a good pick. He jumped it, but it's something that I'm kind of happy I threw, knowing that I don't have 0 interceptions and I can't get that one interception for the rest of the season. But it's a play that I think back to a lot.
You don't want to have a goose egg because then that's all everyone's talking about. He hasn't thrown any interceptions. It's like you got one.
Exactly.
Out of the way.
Yeah.
Zach, let's stick with you. I mean, Andy and I have debated this.
We have
a couple of times about where we like watching you best, either offense or defense. Let's just go right to you and ask you, which one do you prefer? Because we granted, Andy just said you got great command of the wing T, but we love watching you on the defense. So what's your preference?
Being completely honest with you guys, I much rather play safety than quarterback. That's where I started. My first start actually was freshman year in a district championship game against Middletown because we had injuries. So that was my first start at safety. And then sophomore year I played safety, and we had a senior quarterback who played. So last year would have been first year at quarterback. But my original position, I always say, is safety, and I love the contact of safety and coming up and playing the run.
So Evan, let me piggyback on that question. Which side of the ball do you prefer that Zach plays on? Because obviously it's really nice having the guys behind you when you're at linebacker, knowing that you can sort of, pin your ears back a little bit and beeline to the ball. You got a safety valve there. But obviously he's done a tremendous job offensively too. So where do you prefer he's at? Number 9.
Normally I would rather have him on defense, but with the ACL injury, I was kind of tentative on defense. But dude, I honestly think he's a better quarterback than he is a safety after his friggin' performance at Danville. What do you think?
I think you're probably correct. Or you're probably correct. Yeah, and that's an element too, and that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys. Everybody has this thought of what the wing T is, and it's power football, it's misdirection, it's the fullback driving up the middle, and you guys do plenty of that, obviously, being the leading rusher. But when you have a quarterback who can throw the ball and you have that element, it opens up a tremendous amount of not only balance for the offense to go, but for the defense, you now have to cover the entire length of the field side to side. That sometimes can be very difficult, especially against a talented group. Is that mentality sort of lost? You feel like maybe the wing tee gets a bad rap in that sense?
You want to go, Zach?
No, I was gonna give it to you. That's what I was saying.
All right. I definitely feel like the wing tee is definitely an underrated offense because in the wing tee, there's always going to be a hole in that line of scrimmage. But then I don't know, dude. It's just it's a very tough offense to defend against. If it's a team that's very undisciplined, we're going to gouge you.
Hey, Evan,
I think, and
go ahead, Zach.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Zach.
Well, I was going to say, and I think this past weekend was a great example of kind of what you were referring to on how our first possession, I think we ran the ball like 12 times. We didn't pass once on our first possession. And then Bandel has to make those adjustments and load up the box a little bit more, and then we can hit it over the top, which we got a couple times. And that's just how it opened up. And we have great coaches that respond to that well, and that's how I think we've been doing so well this year.
Got to have the quarterback and receivers, though. I mean, it's not as effective without them. Evan, I wanted to ask you, if you didn't play fullback at Wyomissing on offense, because I know where you're playing on defense,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys weren't running the wing tee at Wyomissing, what position would you play on offense? Where do you think you'd be?
I think I would be an offensive guard because that's where I was my first 2.5 years here. But yeah, because I think I would be offensive guard.
And I wanted to ask you, Zach, when the wing tee's off, when it's humming, right? Your offense, Wyomissing's offense. When you guys are humming along, you just said you guys ran 12 plays, straight running plays to open the game against them. I don't want any details. I just want a number. How many different plays are you calling when you guys are humming along? When it's rolling, how many different plays are you calling? Is it 2 or 3? How many is it when you guys are humming? I'm just curious.
When we're rolling, I'd say we usually keep it to one set, meaning like we'll keep the same motion. The pre-snap will look exactly the same.
Right.
But the thing about the wing tee and the thing that we do so well is that all of a sudden we can just pull it from Evan and hand it to Jordan or Amory, our faster halfbacks coming around the opposite side. Like you'll see a lot of dive, and then we'll reverse it right back to the other side, faking a dive to Evan. So we'll hit play sets of like 4 different plays where we'll hit a dive and then reverse it back and then sweep it and then reverse the sweep back, where we're not really like doing a whole different like set of play calling. We're not giving you different formations. We're just pulling the ball and giving it to somebody else.
Gotcha. Go ahead, E.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking to a couple of Wyomissing standouts, quarterback and cornerback, or actually quarterback and safety, Zach Zekman and Evan Nadrowski, linebacker and fullback. All right, guys, what incarnation – can we not get a better name for the field than the A field? Like, what gives there? Am I missing something there? Is that supposed to be like field 1 and field – what's the deal with A? And who nicknamed it the Hornet's Nest? Or is that an official nickname? These are all questions that have been bothering me for weeks.
Evan, this is your answer.
Dude, I am by far the one who have nicknamed this the Hornet's Nest. I was definitely the one. I got a bunch of my buddies calling it the Hornet's Nest now too.
It's freaking.
I'm down with that, but it's just the A field. Does that stand for anything?
I don't think it stands for anything. What was that, Evan?
I think it's just the athletic field, right?
Yeah, it's been the A field for however long. Like we haven't changed the turf or we haven't switched fields since the program started, I believe. So I think it's always been called the A field. So that's just the tradition behind that.
So I got another question for either one of you. Why is Berks Catholic your rival? I mean, I get it. It's public versus private. I get that. I mean, nobody likes McDevitt around here, right? Nobody likes Bishop McDevitt, right? They don't really have a rival. But for you guys, I mean, I work with Ross week after week, and he's like, it's Berks Catholic week. It's Berks Catholic week. And I'm like, why? And he goes, I don't know, but it just is. So why is it Berks Catholic? Because that's the game for you guys in terms of a regular season. Whether you're 0-9 or 9-0, it doesn't matter.
So the reason Berks Catholic is our rival is because Berks Catholic's actual school is literally about like 2 miles away from our school.
Gotcha.
A mile away from our school. So we have a ton of kids that live in our community, our small Wyomissing radius of like 2 miles. The Wyomissing's like 2 miles, a mile long. That go to Catholic. So we have like some of the top best players on Berks Catholic are our friends. Like we even have kids that play with us in junior high that will transfer to Berks Catholic and play at Berks Catholic in senior high. So like we always talk about, wow, imagine if we had like all the kids that live in Wild actually went to Wild, like what we could put together there. Yeah, we talk about it all the time, but the real reason is backyard brawl because like you look in your and you have a player playing at Berks Catholic.
They're 2 miles away. All right, he fired up. One more.
Guys, is there, obviously you guys get a ton of press. Senior class has been tremendous. Zach, stand out on both ways. Is there a couple of maybe 1 or 2 unsung heroes for this team that's guys that are like maybe you didn't expect to be, full bore, 100% guys this year, and they sort of stepped in and done a tremendous job. I mean, obviously you don't get to this point with just 2 guys. It's line play, it's coaching, it's all those things and above. But is there 1 or 2 guys that people should be talking about and maybe they're not?
For me personally, Jason Gardner, I stepped up a lot. I mean, he has a couple of fumbles, but you give him space, he's gone. Mm-hmm. But he's been one of my closest friends ever since I've grown up, and he's really stepped up to the plate. I feel last year he was just same old, and this year he just took his play to a whole other level.
It's nice to have.
And I think, Grabowski, who's the linebacker alongside Evan.
Yeah.
And actually Evan's backup fullback is completely overlooked because of the fact that Evan is such a standout that he is. Tommy's kind of provides quickness to our fullback position and gets the edge up as a linebacker. But Tommy's been a standout, and he started last year as a sophomore. This huge game-winning pick against Middletown. But I think Evan's presence kind of overlooks Tommy, but Tommy's also had a fantastic year.
Nice.
You can tell that. All right, gentlemen. Is it time, Epler?
Hot seat time.
All right, Evan, Zach, it's time to go into high school football. Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine, Hot Seat. Are you ready? I'm going to start with you, Evan. Are you ready?
All right. Yep.
Cake or pie?
I'm going to have to go pie.
Pie. Zach?
I agree, pie.
All right, sticking with you, Zach, is it NFL football on Sunday or college football on Saturday? Which one?
College football Saturday. Go PSU, except they're not very good this year.
They're not very good. Okay, Evan, which one is it?
I'm definitely going NFL.
All right. Sticking with you, Evan, what is your go-to song right now? The go-to song. What is it? Told you it's all easy.
The Champ by Nelly.
All right, Zach.
Living on a Prayer. Dedicated to Wild football. It's a long tradition. I play it for the game.
Okay, sticking with you, Zach. Give me your favorite high school football uniform and helmet combination that is not yours. Whose uniforms do you like?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yes, thank you.
Probably won't be Berks Catholic.
No.
Some good places, but I love Middletown's colors. I do. I love the jersey. Yep. I like the jersey that they wore against us.
I agree. Their uniforms are sweet. Evan, whose do you like that's not yours?
I was going to say Middletown too, because I remember a couple of years ago, or maybe even last year, they had like a whole bunch of combinations. They had the white, the blue, the yellow, the gray. They would just mismatch it all up. Yeah, I agree.
All right, last one. Sticking with you, Evan. What's your go-to order at Sheets? Give it to us.
Three pack of crispy chicken sliders.
Nice. And Zach, what's your go-to order at Sheets?
At Sheets, I think my go-to, I always get a slushie. No matter what gas station I'm getting a slushie. And usually cherry or Coke and mix the two if I can.
That's great. Gas station slushies. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Guys, we appreciate your time. Obviously, thanks so much. Congratulations on qualifying for the state final. One big game left, 3:30 on Friday against Central Valley for the 3A title. Evan Nadrowski and Zach Zekman, thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, gents. Good luck.
We'll see you Friday.
See ya.
All right, coming up in quarter number 4, it's picks and predictions one last time. This is High School Football Now with Eric and Andy, sponsored by Fourth Down Magazine. Come on back for the final picks of the season.
This is High School Football Now, presented by Fourth Down Magazine.
Okay, welcome back to High School Football Now with Eric and Andy. We are presented by Fourth Down Magazine and hosted by the engaging Small Player Big Play app. Our picks and predictions, of course, are sponsored by Crown Trophy. Go to crowntrophy.com for all your trophy needs. This is the final week of picks and predictions in the chase for the Epler Cup. Last week, because we don't know the number anymore, you did a good job. You were 5-1. I was 4-2. I'm a game behind you. Overall, I'm 67-15. You are 60-22. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7 games you're behind with 6 left.
Wait a minute. I just got this official news break here.
What do you want to recount?
Let me read it to you, Andy. To celebrate Steel High winning a PIAA playoff game by a field goal, all picks for championship week are now worth 2 points. This is from the Football Coaches Association of Argentina. Perfectly legit.
All right.
Perfectly legit.
You can argue that in federal court in Williamsport.
It's breaking news, eh? It's just handed to me.
No, one pick. We play marathons. You're 7 behind. But let's get going.
All right.
So we're going to start Friday, November 27th. I gave you the date. Why? It's the day after Thanksgiving. All state championship games are at the Concrete Palace. We're going to start with the 1A game. Aforementioned Steel High is 9-0. They're going to play Jeanette, the Whitfield champions, 10-1. This game's at 11 a.m. Fired up, E.
You know what I like about Steel High is we talked a little bit last week about him finding ways to win. That's really the path of a great football team, or at least a football team who just
on the defense,
just keeps moving forward, though. But they keep finding ways. Last week there was a field goal by Brian Hernandez to get them back to Hershey.
A field goal.
It's a field goal. It's amazing to me. There's a lot of athletes going to be on this field. I don't necessarily think this is going to be a very pretty game. I think there'll be some jitters on both ends, to be honest with you. But I think it's razor thin. I mean, Steel High, like you said, just finding ways to do it. It's going to be a kind of a quick turnaround. You celebrate and you try to get ready for a Jeanette team that's stacked. I'm going to take Jeanette. I don't feel it's, if I had to put a star play on this one, it would be a half star. I mean, that's how close I think this one might be. So yeah, I'm going to take Jeanette, but in a close one.
I'm going to take Steel High. So the quarterback for Jeanette, Birch, didn't play last week, and it didn't matter, right? It might matter this week, though. I think Roberto Smith on the outside is a problem for the Rollers secondary if Birch plays. That's a big-time problem after what I saw from the Rollers. Being forced to play physical the last 2 games the Rollers were against Muncie and Bishop Guilfoyle, that has them better prepared because both teams have the athletes, right?
Yep.
I do know freshman quarterback Alex Irby. Keep in mind he's 14 years old, but he has to play better than he did in the semifinal. He knows that. His dad, the coach, knows that. He can't be shaky or the Rollers could get rolled. I mean, he doesn't have to carry the load per se.
Right.
Odell Green and the offensive line will kind of take care of that. They're prepped for the heavy lifting. Flowers will do something because he always does, but they are going to be able to need a little bit more out of Irby to win this game. So I'm going to take the Rollers.
It would be great if Brad Birch could play 2 freshman quarterbacks starting a state championship game.
Yep.
That'd be a great storyline. So let's hope he does play. But it will be a whale of a ball game. I mean, these guys have worked too hard not to be. So I don't see anybody running away for sure. All right, Class 3A at 3:30 on Friday.
Yep.
Wyomissing 9-0 versus Central Valley 11-0, the Whitfield champions. Remember, Central Valley was in this contest last year in the Wyoming area. A thrilling 21-14 victory over Amir Dudley and CV. Who do you like?
I like Central Valley in this game. I mean, for all the talk about offense and for both teams, it should be chatted about, right? They're scoring like crazy. This game to me just feels like it's all about the defense. I mean, Dudley's going to test that Wyomissing secondary, right? And I think their secondary is pretty darn good, led by Zach Zeckman. I do, but they haven't faced this. And can the Central Valley defense that's been rock solid all season, can they knock the Spartans off their wing T rocker? You know what I mean? Can they get them out of their comfort zone? I just think it's about which defense makes the other team less comfortable. And I mean, it's a razor. This is the most intriguing game to me of all 6. And this is the one I want to see more than any other game that I just want to sit there and watch. So I'm going to take Central Valley.
Yeah, this is the one I want to watch. If I had to rank the 6 games, this would be number 1. I think it's a little bit contrasting styles, obviously, but the personnel is very similar. Central Valley size up front. Yeah, you wonder about first down. You wonder how effective Wyomissing can be on first down, and not that Zach Zeckman can't roll out and beat you, throwing the ball. We've seen that happen, but these athletes at Central Valley are a lot better equipped to stop that, particularly if they get pressure. And the defensive front for Central Valley is pretty nasty. Amir Dudley might not be the A guy to watch. That could be Landon Alexander, terrific running back for Central Valley. They're going to want to get him cooking early, and that'll open things up for here. I'm with you. I'm going to take Central Valley here. But again, this is a 1-star kind of play. Wyomissing's been tremendous. I just don't see Wyomissing going quietly. Not with that senior class and not with what they've been able to do. So this is a good football matchup in my estimation.
All right, the Class 5A game will finish off Friday. It's Cathedral Prep 7-2. Yeah, they're back. They're going to play undefeated Pine Richland at 8:00, coming off that unbelievable comeback against Governor Mifflin. What do you think, E?
Again, I thought last week was the state final. Apologies to Mike Mishler and the Ramblers, but them not playing actually hurts. I mean, I think they haven't played in 3 weeks. It's been COVID win, and now all of a sudden you're going to be asked to go up against the Rams team that's fast, that's physical, and really the only fast and physical team that Cathedral Prep has sort of had to go against is McDowell. And they lost both games and quite handedly. They lost to McDowell the last time by 17 points, I believe it was. So I like Pine Richland here. I can't really say what kind of margin, but the fact and how they steamed back against Governor Mifflin, if everybody's okay, you know what I mean? If everybody physically is okay from that kind of brutal assault, a couple days ago, I think you have to target Pine Richland here.
Yeah, Mike, I am going to pick Pine Richland as well. I mean, I don't know how Cathedral really keeps it all that close at times. I mean, I'm just worried about that. They're a machine. The Rams are. They have so many options in that offense. It just seems destined that they're set up to overpower Cathedral Prep, and that's not something you say very often or I take lightly. But it looks that way. And after what they did last week, coming back from 21-0 and 41-19 down against, arguably the best team Governor Mifflin's ever had. That's a tough one. All right, let's move to Saturday 2A championship game. Guess who's there again? Southern Columbia. Guess who hasn't lost? Southern Columbia. What have they won? Like 59 games in a row?
It's a long time, and I actually think Coach Roth now is on the verge of tying, becoming PA's all-time with George Curry. I think. I'm not sure. I need to check that. But anyway, again, I mean, Wilmington had a couple bare knuckle games with Farrell this year. Southern hasn't really had to sweat most at all this year, like every other year. But I just, you just ask yourself, is this Wilmington team a lot better than the 2018 version that showed up and got clocked by Southern? Are they that much better? Now, I don't think Southern's as good as the 2018 team.
No,
I mean, let's be honest, but it's still stopping Gavin Garcia, and nobody on the hemisphere has done that yet. And it's still about the size, and it's still about the strength up front. And I just, what do you see? What can you pinpoint about Wilmington to see that they might be able to pull this upset? I don't see anything. Southern Columbia has to be the pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Southern Columbia as well. I mean, I agree with you. How do you see Wilmington keep it a game even into the fourth quarter? It's just, I mean, it's a Susquehanna River between the Tigers and everybody else in 2A, right? Wilmington included. I mean, God bless them. They earned their shot.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Take it. But, oh my gosh, I'm glad I don't have to fire that shot. All right, the 4A game, Jersey Shore is undefeated. Welcome to 9-1 Thomas Jefferson at 3:30.
Yeah, TJ fought themselves back from a midseason loss. We know Jersey Shore's tough. We know they got grit. But TJ should be well rested. That Oil City team was obviously Juniata should have beat them 2 weeks ago. They really didn't belong in the semifinals, and they proved it with a 62-0 loss to TJ. Jersey Shore had to work their tails off to beat LS. So I think, being that it's a quick sort of turnaround again, maybe that some of that residual pays off here. I like Thomas Jefferson. I just tried to root for things that I thought Jersey Shore might be even, or maybe even have an advantage over TJ. And I could not pinpoint anything, especially after they just kicked off, just gave up almost 500 passing yards to McTaggart Friday night. TJ's Jake Pugh is probably licking his chops at this point. So I have to take Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm going to take Thomas Jefferson as well. I mean, it's monumental for Jersey Shore and District 4, kind of in the same way Central York and District 3 in Class 6A game, right? First York County team. But man, TJ's they're just a bully. And they've played a schedule that I think gives them the right to believe that they can push you around, because that's what they've done, right? I mean, and the difference is when TJ goes to tackle you, you're going down. Like pretty much
tackled. Yeah.
And that's a big difference to me, and that's why I think you have to roll with Thomas Jefferson. All right, last one, the 6A game, St. Joe's Prep, 5-0 against Central York, twice as many games, 10-0. This game's 8 o'clock at the Concrete Palace. Bring it home, brother.
It's interesting, right? Because the one nugget that was kind of sticking in my head is for Central York to have any prayer to kind of pull this one off, you had to have Bo Prabula play safety, right? You have to have him playing safety. And that, in turn, against a team like St. Joe's Prep, who is just talent just flooding all over the field. And it's not just talent, it's 5-star talent. It's Ohio State's, it's Clemson's, it's Duke. It's just, the guys who bring out the water are going to, FBS schools. So it's just, it's such a monumental task to begin with, and then to pull something off like that for 48 minutes and have your quarterback trying to play both ways. I think it does take away from your offensive capabilities here. So that's what I fear for Central York. Judah Toom needs 2 to 4 unbelievable plays in special teams to kind of keep them in this. But in the end, until somebody can rise up and beat this unbelievable collection of talent, how do you pick against St. Joseph's Prep, who is probably ranked 3rd or 4th in the nation right now?
They're a top 5 team in the nation. I'm going to pick St. Joe's Prep. A lot of this reminds me of Central Dauphin last year, right? Like Central York's playing their very best football. They've been tested now in the playoffs. They're well prepared. They have a star player and a leader, right? They're ready to take their shot. Then you actually step on the field and see what you're up against. when you play St. Joe's Prep, and it just kind of goes sideways in a hurry. I think Prabula has to play his biggest role as a leader in making the first, 8 to 10 minutes less devastating. I mean,
Right.
St. Joe's Prep has all the God-given talent you need, right? And they don't really play like a hungry team. They just simply overwhelm you. We know the Panthers are ferociously hungry, right? This is their shot, but they have to get past that first 12 minutes without having to chase the tail of the dog, right?
Yeah.
You go down 14-0, and this game looks a lot different than it did against McDowell. You have to make St. Joe's Prep kind of find that killer instinct. They can cruise on you because they're that good. It's a lot easier said than done, but you just can't shoot yourself in the foot and have the game go sideways on you like that. Otherwise, you're in real trouble.
Yeah, this actually reminds me more of 2018 when Harrisburg made it in.
Yeah.
Like, Central York, this Central York team feels a lot like that Harrisburg team. They played their guts out. They probably played their best football game, and it was still a 40-20 loss to St. Joe's Prep.
Yep.
So that just tells you what you're up against, that mountain you're trying to scale. So so we both like the Hawks to do it again. I think that would be 3 in a row. So, well, there you go.
There you go.
That'll do it. That'll do it for the final picks and predictions of the high school football season. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much. If you're able to get out, are they letting fans in Hershey? I don't even know. I think they are. But if you get a chance to watch the state championship weekend, do yourself a favor and do it. 6 games starting Friday at 11 a.m. with Steel High going against Jeanette. Special thanks again to our sponsor, Crown Trophy, the Small Player, Big Play app, and, of course, our guests this week, Zach Zekman and Evan Nadrowski. They will play for the 3A title game at 3:30 on Friday. Check those guys out, too. We hope you had a good time. Andy Shay, thank you so much.
Thank you, E.
Thanks to, our main guy, too, our GM, Adam. All right, that'll do it. High School Football Now with Eric and Andy, presented by Fourth Down Magazine. Enjoy the show.
See ya.